Okay, I think we are live. Having some technical difficulties, so if anyone's hopping on, definitely let me know if for whatever reason you can't hear me. I've commented that, so hopefully one of the two you'll be able to figure out what's happening. So welcome to Stampin' It Up with Catherine. We're going to explore some stamping techniques and tricks to take a sip of your creativity. And so SIP stands for Stamps, Ink, and Paper. That is your card base. That's going to be the foundation of all your cards. And then T are templates, embellishments, and adhesives. Those are things that are going to make your cards just a little bit more fancy. And fancy doesn't mean complicated. You can still have a very fancy card with something simple. So today we're going to be talking mostly about ink. Obviously I will be talking about other things, but ink is the focus of tonight. So I'm going to flip my camera down, set my tea aside, and we'll get started. And hopefully someone will hop on. If not, hopefully some people will get to watch it later. So let me switch my camera down. Perfect. Okay. Let me set my tea aside. It is really yummy. A friend gave that to me at Christmas last year or the year before. I don't remember. It was cranberry pomegranate. So yummy. Okay, so the card that we are making today, I already did most of the card. I chose Real Red because I wanted to do a monochromatic theme because the ink we're going to be using is Real Red. So I wanted to talk about ink pads real quick, and hopefully my daughter won't mind. I stole some of her ink pads because I wanted to kind of show you guys how different ink can actually make a big difference in the quality of your stamping. So I'm actually going to hop on just this little stamp here and show you guys kind of how different the ink can make it look. And I've just got my scrap paper here. So this is my daughter's washable ink, water-based ink. And most ink pads are stored like this, up and down. But the ink tends to run to the bottom. So the tip, if this is the kind of ink that you have, store it upside down and it will keep the ink kind of toward the top where you actually need it. So I'm gonna ink up here. And this is supposed to be a pretty bright red. As I stamp it here, you'll probably notice it's not as bold and bright as I would have expected. And I'll put that here for you guys to see. It's just not a very clear image. And I consider this probably, since it's made for kids, pretty low quality ink. And then what I'm going to show you is probably what's considered upper end ink, but it's really not that expensive. So I consider it worth the investment in better quality ink when it comes to stamping. So just ink up this stamp here. And then I don't know if you guys can tell the difference, but the image came out a lot clearer just because the ink is a lot better. And I'm going to show you guys this system that Stampin' Up! Has is, I think, awesome because when it's stored, the ink pad is down. So it's already, like, you don't have to turn it upside down. It already does that with the way that the lid flips open. Just flips open, slide it, and then you're ready to go for stamping your ink. And then another thing they have that I really like is on the back, they have the stickers and they have for labeling the sides. So you can easily see Real Red. This one's just blank. They have them in different languages, but I actually use pretty much all of the stickers they give me. And I'm actually gonna, this is my last one, go ahead and pull this off. And I've been working on taking these stickers. This one's in Chinese, but I'm going to stick it in here because just looking at this, it kind of looks like black. So it can be hard to tell what color ink it is. And you might accidentally stamp in the wrong color. And so putting the little sticker inside here makes it a little bit easier to not make mistakes. All right, so there's our ink pad. And then what we're going to be doing today, we're making birthday cards this month. So I have this little stamp here that's happy, happy birthday. I got these from a Stampin' Up! Card kit last year. And I have really been enjoying the sentiments. They're just classic happy birthday sentiments. Okay, so got my stamp on. And I'm going to stamp it on down here at the bottom of this piece of paper. And this is a pretty new ink pad, so it's pretty juicy. And if you have a super juicy ink pad, I've heard you can take a plastic spoon and like slide the ink to the side so that it's not right where you're stamping. So stamp happy birthday. And then for cleaning your stamps, there's actually several ways to do it. I've been using the Stampin' Mist. You just spray it onto like a cleaning pad. So you spray it on one side and then you dry on the other. But recently I got this chamois from Stampin' Up! And you just wet it with water. And so you can wash it out and rinse it really easily. And then you can either let your stamps air dry, or I like to give them a little boost in drying over there. So it really doesn't matter which way you do it, but that's been my new preferred way too, especially with the photopolymer stamps. I feel like the water does a lot better job than with the cleaner. Okay, so I'm just going to cut this. And I will tell you guys that there's so many different tricks and tips that you can do with just ink. If I was watching some videos today and was learning all kinds of new stuff that I'm like so excited that I've been starting to try out. I'll be teaching to you guys hopefully here in the next while once I've got a project planned. Not too big. Okay, we're going to trim this up a little bit. That away, and then we'll flip this around. And then just use scissors on this side. Perfect. So I love Stampin' Up! Because their ink and their paper like matches perfectly already. So it really doesn't take much to have a nice looking card. So this is their designer series paper, and this is some red cardstock that I had. And so I was able to use my dies, cut out the paper, and mix and match them. Have a really nice looking card without much effort. That's what I love about it. Okay, where did I put that? So we are going to use, I don't have very many dimensionals right now. I'm planning to move over towards Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, but right now I've just got these 3D foam squares that I want to use up. So I do not like to waste things, even if they don't work optimally. So these on. Let's do one more. Okay, now I do not like the paper backings on these. If you watched my previous videos about adhesives, they drive me crazy. But I found a little trick with my tool from my die cut machine that kind of helps lift the paper up a bit, so I can get the edge and peel it off. Works a little better. And so I don't know if anyone's watching this, but if you haven't seen already, I've got a Facebook group going where we can share the projects that we're working on. I've got some like challenges that like we'll be doing like this month. We're working on creating cards with just your favorite stamp or stamp set. I think next month we'll probably do one. I haven't quite decided exactly what we're doing next month, but it'll have something to do with ink. So, all right. So if you're interested in joining our Facebook group, definitely hop over there. I would love to have a few more people join us. It's pretty small right now. All right, so there's the front of our card. Easy peasy. And then the next part that we're going to do is I wanted to put some flowers on the inside of our card. So I have this set from Stamp Net called Softly Sophisticated. And this is a 2-step stamp set. So we'll put our leaves and plant on there. And then these are our flowers. I'll show you guys how that works here in a sec. So set that over here. All right, so I've got Old Olive that we're going to use for our green. I think I did say this was a monochromatic card. I still consider it as such because green in some cases is kind of a neutral and it's like a plant. So up and then we'll stamp right here. And then just stamp onto our chamois that I've gotten wet with water. And I'm going to do like a little tiny, I don't know, twist rocking motion. Squeeze some water onto the Stampin' Block. And we'll dry. Okay. And then we'll close this up so that I don't stick my finger in it. That is. Okay. So with a stamp like this, sometimes these wiggle around a bit. So I want to make sure I put it in just the right spot. So I'm actually going to line it up with the plant that I've already stamped. And we'll put it right there. And now that I have it all lined up, I'll take my block and we'll just go ahead and press down and lift up. And that makes it so that the image doesn't move around as much. Okay, so we're just going to ink on up. Okay, and I'm going to do a stamp off because I want my flowers to be just a little bit lighter. Okay, and then let's clean that. Okay, and then, so this is my ink pad, and I also have Stampin' Blends that are, well, let me show you first. There's the Stampin' Write markers, and these are water-based, so they work kind of like they have kind of a watercolor effect to them. And then these are alcohol-based, so they won't like go all over the place quite as much as this one will. And one is dark and one is light, but they're both real red. So I'm going to use the light real red and just kind of fill in a little bit on this flower. Give it a little bit more. I can't see that on camera very well, but it kind of gives it some more interest. Or you can also just leave it white, and that's just fine too. Okay, so our card is done. And I just wanted to show you guys real quick the other cards that I did earlier using the same paper and color scheme. And that one I didn't do the stamp off technique like I did earlier. I just felt like my ink was just a little bit too heavy-handed. And then this one, happy birthday. I just did an image that way instead. All right, so those are 3 birthday cards. And then I also like to decorate the envelopes a little bit to match the card. I don't think I've done this in any of my lives thus far. But when doing an envelope, depending on what part of the envelope I'm doing, I'll stick an index card inside in case it bleeds through when I'm stamping. So we are going to do the stamp off technique for both the leaves and the flowers on this one. So I'll stamp onto scrap paper, and then we're going to stamp onto the envelope. Oh shoot, just got some ink on my paper. I'm going to let it dry, and then I've heard that you can use a sand eraser to take stuff like that off. I haven't tried it yet, so we'll find out. Okay, I'll try to be just a tad more careful. Okay, and then on the back, I'm going to put our flowers there. Okay, let's clean that off. Okay. Switch back over to our real red. Stamp off. And pick up, stamp off, and then stamp onto our envelope. Okay. So something I like to do is I like to buy envelopes in like just a box without any cards that come with it. And so if I mess this one up, we'll just use one of those envelopes. So sometimes I like to cut cards from colored paper. Most card bases come in just white or like off-white. Okay, let's see if this works. Alright, I'm not seeing it work super well. It might work better on cardstock, where we're dealing with just such thin paper. So before I send this card, I will probably do a different envelope, but so still at least able to show you guys how to do it. Right. And one last thing I wanted to show you guys was the Stampin' Ink. They call these the re-inkers. And these are to go with your ink pad. So if you use this pad a lot, sometimes the ink they're getting low on ink. You can use this re-inker and just drop it across and use like a plastic spoon and spread it back in. And so you can reuse this ink pad a lot longer than you would just a standard one from your craft store. So for me, the value of having the ink pad and the re-inker, it saves you a lot of money in the long run. And there's actually a lot of different techniques I've seen where people use just the re-inker in different ways for different techniques. So I find it really beneficial, and I'm excited to try out some of those techniques that I am just now learning about. So let me flip my camera back and okay. All right, so thank you so much, you guys, for joining me. If you are joining me later, I don't think anyone is able to get on tonight. But if you want to expand your creativity, pun is intended, or if you have any questions, please let me know. I would love to help you get started. And I hope if you're interested to join our Facebook group where we can do some challenges and we can share our creativity and just have a community where we get to learn and grow together. So that's all I have for you guys tonight. We'll see you guys next week.